we did survive my first. I survived my first. I mean, probably not yours. Thank you very much. And what a joy it was. You can believe everything I say to you. Obviously today we're going in to talk about the situation in South Sudan. This, tragically, is the second time I've been doing that in my short time here. And I see displaced either internally or in neighbouring countries. Civilians are being deliberately targeted by the security forces that are meant to be protecting them. It's an abysmal situation. The government of South Sudan has comprehensively failed to implement its own ceasefire, and there is no great progress at all in the internal peace talks that have been called. So it's a dire situation. Now, I do welcome the Africa Union's communique of the last week, which called for sanctions and an arms embargo if the parties did not come seriously into the IGAD, the regional group's peace process. And I think that's the message that I hope the Security Council will be sending today, that we need everybody to get into, all parties to get into the regional peace process that's ongoing. That is what we support. That is the best chance for peace. But that there will be consequences for those that don't.
So how long do you give them?
Well, the IGAD, I think the high-level forum is due to be taking place shortly. We hope to get more information about that in the coming weeks and weeks at least. So, I think it's really important that we pull together behind that IGAD process, that regional process. But I think we should be very clear with those who do not seem to be taking the need for peace seriously, who seem to believe there is a military solution, that there will be consequences if they fail to take full part in that process.
The Vice President of South Sudan, in his speech, seemed to be on a completely different track, saying that he thought that they were heading toward peace. Is this delusional? Where is this disconnect?
Well, I think that viewpoint is not shared by anybody else in the region or anybody else looking more broadly across the world at what is happening in South Sudan. And I would just urge the government of South Sudan, along with all the parties, to get back into proper peace talks as the regional countries are trying to organise. That's what matters.
Ambassador in Iraq, this is Majid Gili from Huda Media Network. Yesterday, your foreign minister and Ambassador Rycroft called for dialogue between Erbil and Baghdad. Given there was a referendum on the situation in Iraq, this seems to be unrealistic to be done only by whatever diplomatic representative the other countries have in Iraq. Do you think at the Security Council level there will be any intervention in this sense to bring both sides on the table to prevent the instability that your country and others warned about?
Well, look, we did not support the referendum in Iraq. We are disappointed that it took place, despite efforts by a number of countries to try to talk to the leadership, the Kurdish leadership, and to try and help them to resolve any differences with the government of Iraq. We continue to support the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq, and I believe that's the position of all on the Security Council. I've heard no other suggestion, and we believe what needs to happen now is the situation needs to remain calm, and we all need to focus on the fight against Daesh and the efforts of the government of Iraq to provide services in those liberated areas, and that's what matters most.
On Yemen, is it the case that this month's Security Council meeting on Yemen was either postponed or cancelled, and was anything accomplished on the political track in the humanitarian meeting held on Friday of the week?
So I think you're referring to the fact that this afternoon's briefing, which was scheduled, I think, on the provisional agenda, isn't happening this afternoon. That was a decision of the Ethiopian presidency. I don't know what the motivation was. I assume they were having trouble getting briefers to attend or something. I mean, I'm sure it will be rescheduled in due course, so we'll look forward to that when it happens. And in terms of the meeting you allude to, there was, I think, a good conversation during the ministerial week. The humanitarian situation in Yemen continues to be of the gravest concern to the UK and to the Security Council as a whole. It is a terrible situation there, particularly with the outbreaks of cholera that have taken place. And we have consistently called on all of those parties involved to allow aid to allow humanitarian relief to get into all parts of the country that require it, through all ports and airports, without conditions. And that continues to be our call. As for conversations during Ministerial Week, I think that there was a unity of belief from all the conversations I saw people having, that should be the case, and that there needed to be a political solution in Yemen.
Okay, thank you. Last one.
You've called a meeting for Thursday. Why an open meeting, and what are you hoping for?
Well, an open meeting because I think it's really important. As this situation, I mean, it's an unprecedented situation. I think we're now over 450,000 people who have been displaced within such a short period of time. And I think it's really important that the Security Council is able to talk about this openly, to hear openly from the briefers, and to send a clear message to the authorities of Myanmar that the violence needs to stop, that humanitarian access needs to be guaranteed immediately and without condition, and that people need to get behind the recommendations in the Annan Commission to address the long-term causes. And that, I think, is what I hope will come out of Thursday's meeting.
Okay,
Thank you all very much.
Thanks.